How can PXG sell their brand new 2022 driver for £250 custom fitted? Well, let's go and ask them, shall we? The amount of messages, DMs, text messages I have had about the Gen 5 PXG deal has been relentless. So last week I messaged them myself to see if it was possible to get it in the hand, because at £250 fitted in person, fitted on the phone, or if you're a decent golfer and you know that you want a particular shaft, head and loft, at £250, especially in a couple of weeks in September when the price goes back to normal, I don't think you can lose in any which way. You like it, you've got a new driver. You don't like it, well, it's going to be worth exactly the same amount of money second hand. Hence why I'm down here to test it. If you like this video, leave it a like, subscribe if you are new. Let's go meet the boys. Jack, thank you for having me down today to do a bit of Gen 5 fitting. How long have we been at PXG for?
This is my third year now at PXG. I'm employee number 6, so it's obviously grown quite significantly.
You were at the start then?
Very close to the very start, yeah.
And I've come to try a new driver that for the whole of August is still at £250. Now the big thing, Jack, I've had a PXG fitting experience before. I know you guys are incredibly thorough. We're going to look at some obviously standard shaft options that come in the £250 price. We obviously have lots of kit on the table, so the fittings are extremely good. And the whole point of this video, I want to see try the Gen 5. You did say you still got some fittings with yourself. I'm sure some of the other fitters as well. So potentially people watching this video before September comes could have an in-person fitting with this driver for £250. And the Gen 4 still a phenomenal driver head, and that's going to stay at the £250 price tag for the foreseeable. So even if they can't get in before August ends, potentially someone can come here, try the different price options, meet someone like yourself and go through this whole experience as well. Is that right?
Yes, correct, yeah. Yeah, so feedback of Gen 5 has been phenomenal for us this year. And moving from Generation 4 to Generation 5, you know, we see some real good improvements in terms of the product and how it performs the test.
So Jack, Gen 5, Gen 4, this is, when did this just come out?
It got launched April this year.
April this year, the driver came out. Just talk to me briefly about the changes between that version and obviously the Gen 4.
So, big change you'll see is how it sort of looks to begin with. Okay, so there is a technological development in terms of why it looks a little bit different. Aluminium sort of vapor crown technology, which is where this aluminium vapor gets sort of a vacuum sealed chamber, gets installed onto the head on top of the carbon fiber. So this basically really stiffens the structure of the head and gives it a bit more of that stable face. Big change when you move to the Generation 5 now is we got now a full crown with aluminium vapor.
You've expanded it essentially.
Correct. So basically now the idea behind this, we stiffen the structure between the face and the crown, so the stability factor is a lot higher, the MOI is increased, and obviously that ball speed is going to get a little bit higher from that as well.
So obviously Gen 4 is still a great head.
Yeah, still.
But am I right in thinking the Gen 5 just excels more in the forgiveness category?
We're also seeing a distance in gain in obviously Generation 5 against Generation 4. In terms of that stability factor, that is there as well. The benefit from Generation 5 is we can really push that weight forward now, but keep it right at the perimeters of the golf club to really increase that stability factor in a lower spin position.
So the idea is you've been able to do the low spin version of this on the Gen 4 around here, but also by moving the weights at the same time.
Stabilising that head, so it's right in the parameters of the head. And also we can create a fade bias, you know, we can really change this out for each individual.
And again, the bit that I do like about the PXG drivers, and this has basically been from day one, is the amount of different combinations you guys can work with. It's not necessarily 4 different heads and then draw bias, low spin, and then 4 different settings of changing the hosel. You can actually change all the driver weighting whichever way, and obviously the Gen 5 now has quite a lot more adjustability around the head.
Yeah, and the big thing for PXG is we don't just make sort of close to like men and women, we make close to everybody. And that's our big thing with the whole weight system. We can really dial in that specific swing weight for each individual customer.
Very professional, Jack, that was.
So, a couple of things that we do here at PXG during the fitting process is we'll always measure customers' current clubs, look at where they are currently lengthwise. We'll also then swing weight the club as well to find the correct swing weight for the customer.
Right, first few warm-up hits. Jack's just given me this 0311 XF. So this is the extra forgiving head type with just a standard Diamana 60 gram stiff flex shaft. Jack has kindly put out the shafts that are available in this 250 option, and the whole point as well as this video is that if you are a decent golfer, you know about your swing, or better yet, you can even have a chat with this kind gentleman on the phone to guide you. You're getting decent shafts that you can choose and go, right, I think I'm going to be a stiff flex in the RDX Smoke Black, or the Even Flow Riptide, or the Tensei Blue with a 9-degree head in the Gen 5. And the value of these shafts, I don't need to tell you what they're worth alone. That's why this video, for me, the experience, the equipment and the tech that you're getting for the price tag, especially through August, seems like a no-brainer. As if you don't like it, I'm not going to lose any sleep, as you're not going to be losing any money. We're definitely getting there. I'm starting to pipe this thing out into the distance, and if we put the price to one side, obviously the Gen 5 at the moment, fantastic deal at 250. Even the Gen 4 for 250, and have the ability to be fitted by yourself, I think it's a massive selling point. But turnaround times on the equipment, the factory in the UK especially, talk to me about turnaround of the clubs, where they're built, how they're built, and how quickly people are expected to have this in their hands.
Yeah, so we opened up a build facility essentially in Isha in Surrey, sort of April sort of time this year. So really for us, that's been a massive improvement for us in terms of our, our quality control, the ability to get clubs out to customers as quick as possible. So at the moment we're up to a 10 working day lead time, which
is ridiculous, really.
Pretty phenomenal in the
I think that's
at the moment, considering all the aftermath we've had for where the world has been the last couple of years. To potentially have a driver in your bag within 10 working days is phenomenal.
My assumption was correct. Jack telling me numbers actually with the first option weren't too bad. We're getting some decent distances, decent ball speeds in terms of club head speed ratio, but we're going for something a bit more fade biased. Jack, talk to me quickly, what have you just changed?
So we've just changed into Gen 5 0311 heads, okay, still at 9 degrees. We actually forehand in the original set we had 7.5 grams in the back, 7.5 grams in the heel. We've now got 7.5 grams in the back and 7.5 grams in the toe. So it's going to be a slightly fade option. We also have changed the shaft. We've gone now to the Project RDX Hazardous Smoke Blue, okay, in 6.5 flex and 60 gram. Pretty good numbers on those last few hits. Club speed we're at 117 mile an hour, ball speed just over 170 miles an hour, and that last carry is 304 yards, finishing 326.
Right, Jack, I'm definitely not having that one back. I love the setup. What was the final combination that we went with? I've got obviously X-Flex in the shaft now.
Correct, so you've got PXG Generation 5 0311 head. So you've got the 9-degree head. Weight wise, we've got the weight set up in a slightly fade position. So we've got 7.5 grams in the toe, 7.5 grams in the heel. In the toe and in the back. And then also we've gone with the Mitsubishi Diamana S 60 gram extra stiff shaft at the moment.
So if you're watching this video and it's now September 2022, this probably isn't £250. However, I'm intrigued because I haven't ever hit the Gen 4 either. So Jack is kindly now going to swap out the head, set it up for myself, and this still will be available. If you're watching this video, maybe not if it's in 3 years time, have a look at the upload date, but this still will be available for fitting on the phone and online at £250. So let's see how I get on with it. Now, without any question, I definitely hit the Gen 5 better, but that potentially is down to the way I was swinging it. Quickly, Jack, as a question, if people had to have a Gen 5 on the phone with you, custom fitting, or an in-person Gen 4 fitting at the same price, which do you think they'll get a better result from?
I would definitely suggest let's come look at Gen 5, but come and see me, definitely.
Definitely in person.
Both times.
At the end of the day, the in-person custom fitting is a bit that's going to make a massive difference to someone's golf game.
Yeah, because I'll be able to move and adjust things, with even like things like shaft length, swing weight, weather weight position, the loft, all those different little settings that I can really fine tune to find that optimum performance for each individual. And
again, I think I have to agree with Jack on what he said there. In-person club fitting between the two, I would recommend coming down and getting the Gen 4 fitted in person rather than on the phone. However, for you guys that are watching this, as I've just uploaded and the deal is there, and you can have a chat with Jack on the phone or another PXG fitter at £250 for the Gen 5, which, to be perfectly honest, could be biased, but is my personal favourite. I wouldn't say you're going to be losing out. The price is just extremely good. One massive advantage that I've come to realise with a lot of these direct-to-consumer brands, which are only getting stronger, is that they don't have to answer to anyone. They can make their own decisions. They don't have to go down the traditional models of pricing, marketing, structure. They can do as they please. And one thing that I've come to realise today is that they haven't slashed the price of the Gen 5 to 250 because it doesn't perform. They've done it, well, because they can. Guys, if you did like this video, you might like this one up here on the left hand side. Guys, later.